In the last 24 hours, we've heard that an eyewitness claims that the United States actually deployed a top secret sonic weapon against Venezuelan soldiers as they apprehended Maduro. Now, they're saying that this is one of the soldiers that actually survived the attack, and wait till you hear his account. I just want to warn you, the information that is going to come out here is a little bit intense, and we've seen this come out from the White House press secretary in the last 24 hours. Let's go ahead and take a look now. You can see head exploding from the inside, vomiting blood. Witnesses claim that the U.S. deployed a sonic weapon against Venezuelan soldiers. They're saying this is a mystery weapon, a technology that has never been seen before, and we're starting to see headlines coming out on this. Witnesses claim that the United States military used microwave weapons in a Venezuelan strike. An anonymous guard describes soldiers collapsing from alleged direct energy attacks. White House shares the post, declines to verify. The U.S. used powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees during Maduro raid. Witness accounts. U.S. used sonic weapon on Venezuelan troops. Report shared by Levitz claimed, and sonic boom wiped out Maduro's soldiers. Witness account describes a shocking U.S. military raid on Venezuela, and we're going to be taking a look directly at Carolyn Levitt's account, what she released. I'm going to read it directly for you so that way you can see it for yourself, and it's pretty intense. So you let me know. Have you already heard of this? This has been out for about 24 hours now, and I actually had heard some rumors that there was some sort of mystery technology that the U.S. deployed that they had never used before. It's never been seen before, and now they're saying that these accounts are being confirmed, that eyewitnesses that actually survived the attack, soldiers that were there, are describing what unfolded, and it was pretty intense. Let me know. Have you heard about this? Yes or no? I'm going to share with you the latest, but like I said, it's pretty intense. We've heard rumors that there was intense sound waves. I'm going to get into the details for you. They said that it was a sound attack, that there was a sound, a vibration that took them down, ended the lives of many of them, bleeding from their eyes, their ears, their nose, excuse me, not eyes, but ears, nose, vomiting, blood, crippling them, paralyzing them, and the U.S. soldiers were able to just go through and leaving the Venezuelan soldiers absolutely helpless, unable to defend themselves from this technology that was used. And it makes you wonder, what type of technologies does the United States or other nations have that we don't even know about? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But we're hearing that Trump gave the approval for the United States to use this technology that has never been seen before, and that's how they were able to go in and absolutely cripple the guards in Venezuela. If you think that's intense, pretty crazy, pretty powerful, drop a 47 in the comments for support for the Trump administration. But I see a lot of people saying yes, that they believe that we possess these types of technologies the public knows absolutely nothing about, and they decided to unleash it as they apprehended Maduro. So let's go ahead and get right into it, though. Do me a favor before we dive into the details. And like I said, just a warning, it's a little bit intense, the descriptions. Hit the like button if you appreciate the update. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? As news comes out, I'll be sure to keep you up to speed on everything. And as you know, I cite all of my sources. So all the articles I'm going to be referencing, they're going to be linked in the description below. I'm going to put it on the screen, read right from it. You're going to be able to see Carolyn Levitt's, White House press secretary's actual X account as I read the entire interview. So let's go ahead and dive right in and get right to it so that way you can see it for yourself. But first, actually, I've got a video clip for you. Let's take a look as this is being reported across the news media outlets today. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Sensational new account of the Delta Force raid to captureless Nicolas Maduro, reposted on X by the White House press secretary, includes this eyebrow-raising detail from one of Maduro's bodyguards about the way the Americans disabled them. The quote is, "At one point they launched something. I don't know how to describe it," he said. "It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly I felt like my head was exploding from the inside."
There you have it, you guys. So let's go ahead and take a look at this account so that way you can actually see it. Carolyn Levitt said, stop what you're doing and read this, and let's go ahead and do just that. This account from a Venezuelan security guard loyal to Nicolas Maduro is absolutely chilling, and it explains a lot about why the tone across Latin America has suddenly changed. Security guard. On the day of the operation, we didn't hear anything coming. We were on guard, but suddenly all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation. And I've actually heard rumors of this as well, but haven't been able to verify it, that some are suggesting that it might have been an EMP or some sort of technology that wiped out all of their electronic devices. Now, I haven't been able to confirm whether or not it was, or if they were just able to somehow shut off their power, their grid. We don't know. But the account says we were on guard, and suddenly all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation. The next thing we saw were drones, a lot of drones flying over our position. We didn't know how to react. Interviewer. So what happened next? How was the main attack? Security guard. After those drones appeared, some helicopters arrived, but there were very few. I think barely 8 helicopters. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. But those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we had fought against before. Interviewer. And then the battle began? Security guard. Yes, but it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. We couldn't do anything. Interviewer. And your own weapons, didn't they help? Security guard. No help at all, because it wasn't just the weapons. At one point they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from our noses. Some of us were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. Interviewer. And your comrades, did they manage to resist? Security guard. No, not at all. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear, I've never seen anything like it. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. Interviewer. So do you think the rest of the region should think twice before confronting the Americans? Security guard. Without a doubt. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks that they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. Interviewer. And now that Trump has said Mexico is on the list, do you think the situation will change in Latin America? Security guard. Definitely. Everyone is already talking about this. No one wants to go through what we went through. Now everyone thinks twice. What happened here is going to change a lot of things, not just in Venezuela, but throughout the region. So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's the direct quote on X of that account, that interview that took place there, saying from one of the surviving guards who made it through that. But as you heard, they absolutely wiped out tons of those soldiers, and they're saying just a few men went through and absolutely wiped them out. And that's why we're seeing these headlines coming out here. Head exploding from the inside. Vomiting, blood. Witness claims the U.S. deployed a sonic weapon against Venezuelan soldiers. And like I said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Man, like, what type of technologies do they have that they don't tell us about? You know, I was actually talking to somebody about this earlier before I came online, and that was, they were saying that there are so many technologies that they've had for decades, and then they just choose to release it at certain times. Let me know your thoughts. I see Deborah is saying that she believes that Russia has these types of weapons too. If you believe that, put yes in the comments. If you think no, put no. Let me know your thoughts. But also do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. Let's take a look at some of these articles and what they're saying on this as well. Venezuelan soldiers were left bleeding from the nose, vomiting blood, and unable to stand after the U.S. allegedly deployed a powerful and unknown weapon during a military raid to capture President Nicolas Maduro earlier this month, according to an eyewitness account shared by the White House press secretary. Now, the account posted on X and described how the operation was carried out by a small unit of American soldiers who reportedly overwhelmed hundreds of Venezuelan security forces using technology unlike anything seen before. White House has not confirmed the claims, but the details have raised speculation over whether a sonic weapon was used in the combat. Now, in an interview cited by the New York Post, a Venezuelan guard said that the attack began without warning. We were on guard, but suddenly all of our radar systems shut down without any explanation, he said. Soon after, dozens of drones and a smaller number of helicopters appeared. Moments later, around 20 U.S. troops were deployed despite being vastly outnumbered. He claimed the American forces rapidly took control of the area. They were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we've ever fought against before. According to the guard, the encounter barely resembled a conventional firefight. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed that it felt like soldiers were firing 300 rounds per minute. The most disturbing moment came when the U.S. forces unleashed an unfamiliar weapon. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. The guard then claimed it was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. The effects were immediate. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. We couldn't even stand up after the sonic weapon or whatever it was. Stop what you're doing and read this now. Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt also shared this viral post in her caption. Venezuela's Interior Ministry has said around 100 security personnel were killed in that raid, but it is still not clear if any deaths were linked to the alleged mystery weapon. A former U.S. intelligence source told the Post that the American military has possessed direct energy weapons for years. These systems use focused energy, such as microwaves or lasers, to disable their targets. The source said such weapons could cause symptoms including bleeding, pain, and loss of motor function. The guard said that the raid had sent a clear message across the region. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks that they can fight the United States, he said. He added, they have no idea what they're capable of. He added that the incident had already sent shockwaves across Latin America, particularly after Trump recently warned that Mexico was now on the list. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Chilling warning coming out as, you know, when this all unfolded immediately, I had heard some of these, but I just figured that they were rumors. But now we're actually starting to hear confirmation coming out from the White House press secretary, and they're saying that this absolutely crippled them. Now, some of the descriptions that I had heard, but I wasn't able to verify, and also want to say it wasn't able to verify that it was an EMP that was used or some form of an EMP, but there was a lot of that circulating around as well. I don't want to report anything unless I can verify it, but I want to just share with you what the articles have been saying in the last 24 hours, but I've seen some speculating that there was some form of an electromagnetic pulse that might have been used initially first to wipe out the radars, the electronic devices, and then the drones and the helicopters came in and absolutely wiped out those soldiers. But we're hearing, like I said, the reports are saying there was almost like a sound that began to shake the soldiers, and they couldn't get the sound out of their head, and it paralyzed them. And like I said, reports of them vomiting blood, bleeding from the nose, the ears, just crippled, and lots of them did not make it. This is a report of one that survived. However, they're saying from the reports they cannot verify whether or not it was this U.S. mystery energy sonic weapon, top secret weapon that wiped out and ended the lives of many of those soldiers. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Pretty chilling stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more of these coming out here so you can see it. Witness claims that the U.S. military used a microwave weapon. So again, we actually don't know what the weapon was that is being reported. We don't know if it was a sonic blast, an energy weapon, microwave weapon, whatever you want to call it, but they're saying that it is a technology that has not been seen before, and now we're hearing that it was used in this attack. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Claims have emerged that the United States conducted an airstrike on Venezuela on the 3rd, using advanced weaponry to neutralize President Nicolas Maduro's security detail during his capture. Speculation has arisen over whether the U.S. military employed sound wave or microwave attacks, though some doubt the credibility of these claims. According to the New York Post, on the 10th, a Trump supporter on X, formerly Twitter, recently posted a lengthy interview purportedly with a Venezuelan security guard. The anonymous guard stated that during the airstrike, U.S. forces annihilated soldiers using technology never before seen or heard of. He recalled, I was on patrol when all radar systems suddenly shut down and numerous drones began flying overhead. We had no idea how to respond. Moments later, just 8 helicopters appeared and around 20 U.S. troops were deployed. They were armed with something more powerful than guns and technology that was advanced, unlike anything we had encountered before. The guard described the incident as a massacre rather than a battle. The U.S. troops fired rapidly and accurately. We had hundreds of soldiers, but our weapons were useless against them. At one point, they fired something I can't describe. It felt like an intense sound wave. It was as if an explosion was happening inside my head. Some of the guards bled from their noses, others coughed up blood. We collapsed to the ground, unable to move. Whether it was a sonic weapon or something else, we couldn't get back up. Now, the post generated 26.2 million views, though the account did not specify which media outlet conducted the interview or provide concrete sources. White House spokesperson Carolyn Leavitt shared the post, urging, "Stop what you're doing and read this," but declined to comment on its authenticity, according to the New York Post. Citing a former U.S. intelligence source, the New York Post reported the U.S. military has possessed direct energy weapons like high-powered microwaves for years, but this may be the first combat use. Such weapons can cause bleeding, loss of mobility, pain, and even burns. Microwave weapons disrupt electronic systems or attack the brain's temporal lobe without passing through the ears. Unlike ultrasound, they penetrate metal and concrete, enabling covert attacks. A common civilian application is microwave ovens. In 2020, during a border dispute with India, the Chinese People's Liberation Army reportedly used microwave weapons. So for those of you that were saying that you believe that Russia had this as well, here they're saying that China has this as well. Professor Jin Kanrong, deputy head of the International Relations College at Renmin University, stated, "When microwaves were fired from the mountain base, the summit became like a microwave oven. Indian troops on the high ground vomited and collapsed within 15 minutes, forcing a retreat." However, some netizens questioned the credibility of the Venezuelan guards' account due to the lack of verifiable sources. I'm wondering if that is a typo. It's supposed to be, however, some citizens question the credibility of this account. Let me know in the comments. Do you question the credibility of this as well as it was posted? This was from White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt. If so, put yes. If no, put no. Do you think this is authentic? If you think this is the real deal, like I said, put no. But if you question the authenticity of this, put yes. This is questionable. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Now, earlier, the U.S. captured Maduro and his spouse at a safe house in Caracas on the 3rd under Operation Absolute Resolve. The arrest and the transport were carried out by the U.S. Army's elite Delta Force with over 150 military aircraft, including stealth fighters like the F-22 Raptor, deployed to neutralize Venezuelan air defense. Venezuela reported 100 total deaths from the U.S. operation, but did not specify civilian casualties. Venezuelan military authorities confirmed 24 soldier deaths, while Cuba stated 32 of its security personnel died in Venezuela. The U.S. reported no military fatalities. So there you have it. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Some people saying, yes, this source could be questionable. I had heard these rumors circulating around shortly after, but wanted to make sure we could verify it before I reported it. Didn't really want to report too much of the rumor mill until I actually had some solid articles. Then you can see in the last 24 hours that this is starting to come out. Now, it's been put out by the White House, but what if this is a campaign to try to encourage Latin America to back down? As we don't see the sources, the White House has not verified it. Let me know your thoughts. Is this questionable? If you think so, put yes. Now, on the other hand, you think no, the rumors are true. This likely did happen. It's very likely the United States has these technologies and probably used it. And this is a legit warning to the other nations. The United States is not to be trifled with. Like I said, if you don't think this is questionable, put no. But if you think it is, put yes. Let me know your thoughts. Here's another one for you. The U.S. used powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees during the Maduro raid Eyewitness has accounted. The U.S. used a powerful mystery weapon that brought Venezuelan soldiers to their knees, bleeding through their noses and vomiting blood during a daring raid to capture dictator Nicolas Maduro, according to a witness account posted on X by the White House press secretary. And again, one of the things is this could be legitimate. We're hearing the United States does have these technologies. This would be the first time they've used them. And we're hearing that China has this as well, and China has used it as well in the past, we saw from the last article. In a jaw-dropping interview, the Guard described how American forces wiped out hundreds of fighters without losing a single soldier, using technology unlike anything that he has ever seen before or heard of. We were on guard, but suddenly all of our radar systems shut down with any explanation, the Guard said. The next thing we saw were dozens, a lot of drones flying over our position. We didn't know how to react. Moments later, a handful of helicopters appeared, barely 8 by his count, deploying what he estimated were just 20 U.S. troops in the area. But those few men, he said, came armed with something far more powerful than guns. They were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we had fought against before. What ensued, he said, was not a battle, but a slaughter. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed, it felt like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. Then came the weapon that still haunts him. At one point, they launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was like a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. The effects were immediate and horrific. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some of us were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. We couldn't even stand up after that sonic weapon or whatever it was. The White House did not immediately respond to a question regarding whether Carolyn Leavitt's sharing of the post caption, "Stop what you're doing and read this now," indicated the administration was verifying the veracity of the Eyewitness account. Now, an estimated 100 Venezuelan security forces were killed in the January 3rd attack, according to the country's Interior Ministry. It is unclear if any of those were caused by the mystery weapon. The outmatched defenders were helpless as the small U.S. unit wiped them out, the Guard said. Those 20 men, without a single casualty, killed hundreds of us, he claimed. We had no way to compete with their technology, with their weapons. I swear, I've never seen anything like this. The military has had direct energy weapons, which neutralize targets using focused energy such as microwaves or laser beams for years. This could be the first time it's been used in combat by the United States, an ex-U.S. intelligence source told the Post. China reportedly used a microwave weapon back in 2020 against Indian soldiers during a border dispute in Ladakh. The source noted that those weapons have capability to produce at least some of the symptoms, including bleeding, inability to move or function, pain, and burning. I can say all of those symptoms, but yes, some, the source said, but we've had versions for decades. Now, after the raid, the message couldn't be more clear. Don't tread on Uncle Sam, the Maduro loyalist said. Now he says, the message is clear. Don't tread on Uncle Sam. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to be on the other side of that again. They're not to be messed with. The Guard said that the raid had already sent shockwaves across Latin America, especially after President Donald Trump recently warned that Mexico is now on the list. Everyone is already talking about this, he said. No one wants to go through what we went through. What happened here is going to change a lot of things, not just in Venezuela, but throughout the region. Wow. There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Now, very fascinating stuff, and I find this shocking. Now, I had heard about this in the rumor mill, but now you see it coming out in the news reports, and I thought it was very fascinating to hear about this. And then we are now hearing that Iran is saying that they're planning to attack the United States, the Iranian regime. I shared this with you in the last 24 hours. We had seen that Donald Trump came out and said that they were going to be supporting the people of Iran who are calling for the regime to fall. We're seeing protests in the street. The supreme leader said that they would attack U.S. assets and troops and Israeli assets and troops in their region if the United States decided that it was going to come to the aid and said that if the United States attacks us, we will attack back, threatening the U.S. directly just in the last 24 hours. To me, does Iran really want to mess with the United States? Now, especially after hearing about this that took place in Venezuela, let me know your thoughts in the comments. We are hearing that there is a lot happening, though. I'm going to be sure to keep you up to speed on all of it, as we are hearing that there are reports of sonic booms wiping out Maduro's soldiers. Witness accounts describes the shocking U.S. military raid in Venezuela. The U.S. used sonic weapons on Venezuelan troops, reports shared by Levitt's claims. And we're hearing that right now. As they mention, Donald Trump is threatening to put troops on the ground in Mexico if they do not get their act together with trying to stop the cartels, the border crisis. We're also hearing there are warnings going out to Cuba happening today, Colombia. He is also saying that he is trying to broker an agreement to purchase Greenland, and the new person that is leading Venezuela, warnings going out to them as well, and also warnings going out to Iran. So there is a lot unfolding right now, and we're hearing the United States is busting out new technologies that we have. Apparently sonic weapons, energy weapons, microwaves. We really don't know the details of what it is, but the rumors have been floating around, and now we're hearing it's actually being reported in the news. So as soon as I find out more, if we get any verification on what unfolded in Venezuela, if we hear it was actually an EMP that was used to wipe out the radars, we get any of that information, I'll be sure to let you know here on the channel. Now also, as you guys know, I have a bunch of resources down below, and some of those resources are actually EMP-proof fabrics, because here in the United States, we've heard the warning of these being used against our cities, that other nations have thought of almost doing suitcase nuke, dirty bomb type attacks across our U.S. soil and detonating EMPs. Now, right now, we're hearing that ICE and law enforcement for the United States, they are going through the FBI and trying to capture what they're calling our sleeper cells, groups that have already made their way into the United States and are planning various attacks on our soil and are trying to get them out of here. Hopefully, they're going to be able to eradicate any potential threats. But just in case you want to be prepared, I've got Amazon links to various resources, EMP-proof fabrics, EMP-proof cases to protect your electronic devices should there be some sort of EMP detonation. But what we're hearing right now is that that potentially could be used, we are seeing, against other countries by the United States and other mystery technologies we've never seen before. But you guys, man, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you appreciate the approach of Donald Trump, very aggressive, and we're hearing sending a message throughout Latin America, like I said, drop those 47s in the comments for support for the Trump administration. And I see people saying, I wonder what's going to happen with China, Russia, North Korea, Iran. We will see. I see someone else mentioning sleeper cells, Cupcake 8988. Man, we will see. I will continue to keep you up to date here on the channel. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and haven't already, please hit that like button. Thank you for joining me. Subscribe to stay up to date. And like I said, resources and articles linked down below. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless.